What is up, guys? It's your boy GRC. We're coming at you live every single day, 11 a.m. Eastern. I want biceps in the chat immediately. ASAP. Biceps now. Crypto in the Morning is the most comprehensive, unbiased crypto show where we don't pay shill. There's no paid shills going on here. Ain't no one feeding us money. Me and Sam just studying, spitting on here, getting people learning, getting people understanding, gaining an audience, and trying to add value to our users. Crypto is dead right now, but that can be a good time to start doubling down on your focus. And it's not always easy emotionally to double down on your focus when your bags are wrecked, but it's important to do. You got to detach yourself from your bags, and you got to make sure you're playing the long game. Let's get into it right away, guys. We got Sam. We're going to be talking a little bit about, first, there's a little video I'm going to show you. It's a little teaser. No expectations, of course. Video, Richard Hart, DeFi. It's a little bit of an inspirational pump up Sunday situation. Hex token. I saw it when I was watching his show and it was cool, so I'm going to copy it. We're also going to be talking about some of the Ethereum that's getting dumped on exchange right now. And we're also going to be answering some questions about liquidity providing from the Twitter. Sam's locked and loaded. It's Sunday fun day. Everyone, I hope you're having a blessed day. Remember, if you are alive and breathing and awake right now, you're doing pretty damn good. So everyone, let's get ready to rumble.
You already know what time it is.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking no blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hex and I'm making a stake. Got me some hydro, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim ready sent me to show you the way.
DeFi Pro, yeah.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
So what I thought was, well, can you store value better than Bitcoin does? What does Bitcoin do? You can buy it, you can sell it, and you can transfer. So what I thought was, well, can you store value better than Bitcoin does? What does Bitcoin do? You can buy it, you can sell it, and you can transfer it, and that's it. Well, what if you want to earn money on your Bitcoin? What if you want to lend your Bitcoin out? Well, now you've got to give your Bitcoin to a trusted third party who's going to screw you or get hacked, or not give you your funds for some reason, right? So for instance, there's exchanges where you can send your Bitcoin and lend them out to people to short the price. And there's a floating rate that changes on how much profit you can get from doing that. But every once in a while, those places get hacked and then you don't get your money back. So if we have programmable money, well, what should be the first thing we program? Interest. So instead of giving your coins to a centralized third party to hope to make profit, you can just give your coins to the smart contract that minted them. And then the same contract that allowed the coins to exist in the first place is the same contract that will pay you your interest for locking your coins. So I invented it.
You're calling it a blockchain CD.
Yeah,
but
it
it's
monetizes
not.
The time value of money. It's the only cryptocurrency
doesn't.
I'm aware of that pays you more for locking longer.
Look, it's just some like 10th grade economics project.
Hexcoin is 1,000% a scam coin.
Why don't we talk about how scams work and then hope that people don't fall for them? Isn't that a good, useful thing?
I think we should entirely focus on not on you being a scammer, and I don't want to go out of that window of thing. It's just the entire thing. I'm going to say, you're a scammer. This is a scam. You're scamming people.
I mean, the fact is, Kieran is one of your developers who came on the show and said some pretty damning things that raise a lot.
Yes, and I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. I hope that he continues to do that.
So you have nothing to say about, you know, the over 50% of coins.
It's all true.
Being in
I say it all day, every day, and I actually want to help all those people.
No, you're not. You're scamming people.
Okay, so let's go over it. Let's go over it.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. How does everyone win? Let's just for basic questions. How does everyone win?
Well, first, why don't we just attack the easy things, right? So the website says that Hex is designed to go up over 10,000x in 2.5 years.
You know, scammy projects trying to overtake Bitcoin. You're watching one of them written on the shirt right there of Richard Hart.
A mega scam. And obviously, after hearing your responses, it's obvious to me that it is a scam.
A scammer is someone who says to you that they're going to do one thing, you give them your money, and they do something completely different. They tell you that they're going to deliver something, and then they run away with your money, or they steal the money. Richard Hart didn't do that. Richard Hart is very transparent. He said, Hex, what it's supposed to do. You deposit Hex, through this mechanism, it gets burnt, you earn more Hex, you earn this interest in Hex, and it does what it's supposed to do. It's had many security audits, contract audits, and whatever else. It's passed every single one of them. It's never, ever been hacked. And every Hex so far has made money, or users that have bought and staked Hex have made money. That's not scam.
For those of you following the crypto markets, especially the altcoin market, here with Hex, one of the fastest rising cryptocurrencies out there, along with Richard Hart, who is a very enigmatic figure online, founder of Hex. Richard joins us today to talk about this coin and his upcoming projects. Welcome to the show, Richard.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
But Richard, what's happening with you these days?
Well, we just raised $25 million plus for medical research. And, you know, the founder of that charity, I had volunteered for that charity back in 2006 in Cambridge in person. And then I never got around to doing more for them. And it's the only thing that matters is saving lives and healing people. It's the highest and best cause any of us could have. And not enough people work on it. You know, you go out into the street, you close your eyes, you just point at somebody, guarantee they're not a doctor, guarantee they're not a researcher. All of humankind is focused on everything except saving our own lives. So somebody's got to fix it. Somebody's got to do better. You know, my grandparents died. I never did anything for them. Parents are on their way out probably. And I'm next. As you said, I'm a huge guest. It's not good for your health, you know? So it's someone has to put the money in. And it's been awesome that the cryptocurrency community has donated 25 million so far.
Yeah, so this guy Richard Hart, who's been a fan of ours for like 15 years, volunteered at a couple of my conferences like 10 or 15 years ago. Not heard from him for literally, I'm going to say nearly a decade.
Yeah.
Suddenly he comes along and says, right, I've decided now's the right time for me to help you. But he doesn't do what other people like, you know, Vitalik Buterin have done. Yeah. He doesn't come and say, like, here's a check. He says, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to incentivize other people to send you money. And he's got a lot of other people. Richard Hart seems to be, I mean, I don't understand the crypto world at all, okay? Though they very much seem to understand me. We have a huge fan base in the crypto community. But, yeah, I mean, so Richard, you know, I had no idea what he'd been doing. He seems to be a rather polarizing figure. There seem to be people who really disapprove of him. But, honestly, I don't quite care right now because because he's done this enormous thing for us. And actually, to be perfectly honest, I'm not even sure that the disapproval is all that deep, because I wrote to Vitalik Buterin, the guy who created Ethereum and who has been a huge supporter of ours for a few years now, and told him what was going on, and he said, "Oh, that's very interesting. I mean, you know, Richard has been, you know, marketing his currency in a questionable way. I don't know any of the details, right? But this, I mean, his words were, this definitely improves my opinion of Richard. And if it's good enough for Vitalik, it's good enough for anybody."
And written right there on the website, it says you must have no expectation of profit from the work of others.
And with continued interest of cryptocurrency, El Salvador now becomes the very first country to adopt Bitcoin as its official currency. The country now holds 400 Bitcoin, worth about $20 million. Other cryptocurrencies continue to make news as well, such as Ethereum, Doge, and Hex, which is the best performing cryptocurrency for 2020 and 2021. That's three things that you need.
Oh, that's a interesting. It's almost like a preview for the movie that's going to come out in 2024, 2025.
2030.
Yeah. How is my audio? I switched up the mic setup and it's closer to my face. So guys, let me know how the audio is. I also positioned the angle a little bit differently.
Sounds beautiful from my angle, which we love.
Sam, background too.
Sam, how are you doing today?
Bro, I am doing fucking awesome today. Beautiful day. It's cold here in Florida, so I have a sweatshirt on. But I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Every week for the past month and a half, I go through and write out objectives, things that I need to accomplish, whether that's for, say, crypto-related stuff or for my business or one of my other businesses. And I do that every week. This has been very helpful from an organizational standpoint, and speed, because speed in business and life is very important. If you like money, speed, how quickly you can get things done is extremely important. Because if I can get things done 27% faster or 50% faster than GRC, I'm going to be able to make more money, because in that extra 27% savings in my time, I can accomplish 3 more things. Right. So if you want to make money, if you want to improve in your life, speed, figure out how to focus on speed and money so that you can grow faster in all those areas. That's what I've been thinking about this morning. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. You know, like the crypto
lighting's on point, dude. I like lighting today is good. It's not washed out.
Thank you. Crypto market is wrecked, you know, which I don't really. It's hard to care about other than boredom. Like, I guess boredom would be like the biggest factor, especially if you're covering it every day. The SBF stuff, it's kind of been, you know, annoying, but the hacker, it does. I do want to get involved in the Grayscale Bitcoin trust and Ethereum that might be sold. And the hacker, the $500 million hacker, which we all know is like within the FTX system. It's not really like a hacker. And I'm kind of curious about that, Sam. I want to know how low we can go. And I'm just kind of curious, really, at this point. I kind of want to see how this turns out. And I'm interested more than worried about speculating, really.
Did you see the price of Ethereum?
What is it?
Earlier today, I thought it was like
11 something.
Yeah. And then also the price of somebody dumped a bunch of Hedron earlier today. And drove the price down to the edge of the LP pool, and then they stopped and let it get bought back in. But I was watching that earlier today because oh, that's kind of interesting. People aren't doing that. You said that there was a LP question.
Well, I want to save some questions just till the last 20, 30 minutes, Sam. And I do kind of want to round out this. I do think there's more meat on the bone than people realize here. It all seems like hack, all the money's gone, right? Yes, that and the other. But when you start selling things on these liquid exchanges, Sam, things can happen quick. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, there's liquid money out there right now. And it can happen extremely quick, like Godwick quick. And then Godwick quick back up. And then you 50% premium there if you were just paying attention, but doesn't mean you have to be laser locked in 24/7. Like, it's not all happen maybe in 1 second, but it's important if you are trying to buy the bottom. Richard's telling you the bottom's coming. I mean, there's other smart guys speculating that there's downside. You have to at least be prepared for that. And I don't like the moon math. I like the death math. Because I like worst case scenario. I like playing okay, in the worst case scenario, how would I end up? And, you know, we have a video here. It's not too long, but it's just going to go through all this. And then I'm going to square away all those LP questions and we're going to have them. But guys, and Sam, I want you to stop me here if you see something that's tasty to you, because this is a juicy one. I mean, this is only 1 day old and it's gotten a lot of hits. It's Altcoin Daily. And we know Sam likes their videos. I pull up their videos for Sam all the time because he tends to enjoy them. And
good job. Yeah.
And I like using these guys' production value to my advantage. So, oh, CZ, how are you doing this morning, buddy? Let's listen to this. It's called CZ Binance speaks on FTX fraud, bombshell revelation. Guys, sometimes I like to go to these guys because they'll actually spill some of those beans too. But just let's watch this for a minute and just make sure we have all our ducks in a row for the sex orgies and all the liquid coins that are on the market. And if you want to get involved in sex orgies and high amounts of liquid coins, you need to get involved with the Democratic Party. Okay, just kidding. No, Bullish isn't here, so I can sneak those in. All right, let's listen.
Sam Bankman-Fried has said that it was not a good strategic move on his part to get in this battle with you. He says he regrets it because obviously it helped reveal the issues with FTX that led to the collapse of all of this. Do you regret that too?
We were never in a battle with him. He may think he's in a battle with us. We didn't even notice. We don't focus on other smaller exchanges. Clearly that he lied to his users, his investors, his VC investors, his employees. With the news of them becoming insolvent, we just said, well, we want to sell those tokens.
Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. You subscribe for daily videos, keeping you informed in everything going on in cryptocurrency. We'll hear more from CZ Binance in just a second. I need to take you through some breaking news, some big revelations coming out of the FTX SBF scandal. This is stuff that you need to really just, I mean, I don't know if you're going to be able to wrap your head around some of this stuff. We'll start here. Bahamas government says that they were the ones who ordered Sam Bankman-Fried to hack FTX. The Securities Commission of the Bahamas has confirmed that it was them who ordered Sam Bankman-Fried to transfer the exchange assets to the.
Wow, bro.
Yeah, log this news over quick. Like, it's like he's evil, but once these little details come out, this is confirmed.
Wow, bro. That's some sketchy shit, dude.
This dude's in deep. And I think, Sam, if you were going to go to prison for life and then, or you could get $11 million from your own product and pay people off, what would you do?
Oh, 100%. You pay people off. Because
exactly.
Think about this.
I would.
If I'm in a little country that has like extradition rights where they'll ship people back to the U.S., right? If you broke the law here in the United States, but if I can steal, another couple $100 million of customers' funds, give that to the government there to change the rules specifically for me, so that I don't go to jail. Bro, like, of course.
And you don't think other people are twisted up in this in the Bahamas? I'm sure they're all Bahamas, as we call it. Let's get back to this, guys. I want to hammer out these details because people forget really quick what actually is going on because the news is exhausting. They exhaust you with the news. Don't be fooled. We'll give it a couple breaks for a couple days, but we're coming right back to the action.
The government, after saying, go ahead, hack yourself. The key takeaways of this story are as follows. Sam Bankman-Fried conducted last week's 9-figure FTX hack under the instruction of the Securities Commission of the Bahamas. FTX has filed a motion with the court claiming the commission's actions were unauthorized, so FTX didn't like that too much. The Bahamian government is now one of the world's largest Ethereum holders after converting FTX's assets to Ethereum. So it's interesting they chose to convert to Ethereum, and it's interesting now the small government.
Well, the reason that's interesting is because if somehow in the U.S. there is a court ruling that Circle, the company behind USDC, needs to freeze the assets, or they make the decision to do so, then why would you want to hold something where you have that risk? You might as well mitigate the third-party risk of Circle. And
Ethereum is the most liquid pool, the most liquid. There's no more money than is in that liquidity pool for the top ETH pair. I'm pretty darn sure. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I would be pretty darn sure that that's the truth. That as far as liquid money from people, that is the place where it's distributed probably the most on exchange, not Bitcoin. Nobody buys Bitcoin on exchange. Let's play this.
Of the Bahamas is one of the world's largest Ethereum holders. That's not even the craziest thing. Now Forbes is releasing puff pieces on Caroline Ellison, the CEO of Alameda, another puff piece on this whole FTX debacle. If you've been following the story like we have, you know it was the New York Times just a couple days ago who did this whole puff piece on Sam Bankman-Fried, how he wasn't so bad. And now Queen Caroline gets top press. Alameda Research CEO Caroline Ellison is a math whiz who loves Harry Potter and takes big risks. She is also one of the supporting players in Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX catastrophe and a new darling of the alt-right. What the hell? It's not that they're 100% wrong. It's just the way they frame this whole thing. It doesn't make any sense. And now they pinned this tweet. Everyone can see they're being paid to run fluff pieces on FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Caroline, and they don't care. Why? Because nothing's going to happen to them. So they run the piece and they pin it. Risk loving? Before we move on to other cryptocurrency news, see, now you understand why you can't trust the mainstream media. There's an abundance of news articles making Sam Bankman-Fried and Caroline out to be heroes. See, we know it's a lie because it's a topic that we know a lot about. If you subscribe to our channel, this is the topic that you know a lot about. Imagine all the bullcrap they're getting wrong about topics that we don't know about. So if the New York Times piece on Sam Bankman-Fried and then this one from Forbes on Caroline doesn't show you how the media tries to literally manipulate your thought process, beliefs, and behavior towards others, then I don't honestly know what to say. We are literally in a daily fight for our lives. Real quick, guys, we will be attending and speaking at the Central Miami at the end of the month. Get your tickets for this. If you'll also, next year, we will be attending the Bitcoin conference. You don't want to miss. Make sure you visit the links for more information. FTX employees were claiming expenses through online chat, and then random managers used emojis to approve them. This is all coming to light in the bankruptcy filings. The new CEO is putting out this information. Let's dive into it. FTX fraud. More bombshell revelations in new bankruptcy filing. A new bankruptcy filing from FTX CEO John J. Ray III has shed light on what he called a complete failure of corporate controls in the beleaguered crypto exchange. So, things are going from bad to worse for former FTX CEO SBF and his accomplices. A Thursday bankruptcy filing from new FTX CEO John J. Ray III has shed new light on the nefarious activities taking place at the now bankrupt crypto exchange under its previous CEO SBF. Ray is a 40-year veteran of the bankruptcy restructuring business with a resume that includes supervising Enron's dissolution in 2001. In the 30-page document, Ray reveals numerous instances of poor record keeping, fraud, and malpractice at FTX. In his opening statement, he commented on the company's overall state in uncompromising terms, stating, "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here." Ray took over from Sam Bankman-Fried after FTX and its affiliated companies filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on November 11th. Despite his experience, including experience at Enron, Ray made it clear that he had never seen a company in such poor shape as FTX. Quote, "From compromised systems integrity and faulty regulatory oversight abroad to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals, this situation is unprecedented." Amazing that FTX had some of the worst bookkeeping in modern fraud history, despite having the power of blockchain on their side. One of the most damning revelations from the document concerns loans made out to Sam Bankman-Fried and senior FTX execs Nishad Sain and Ryan Salami. According to Ray, the FTX-affiliated trading firm Alameda Research paid out a total of $3.3 billion to Sam Bankman-Fried and his shell company Paperbirds Inc., along with $540 million to Sain and $55 million to Salami. Other bombshell revelations include FTX's negligent approach to bookkeeping. The document asserts that FTX failed to keep appropriate account records and security procedures for digital asset holdings, which ultimately led to the user deposits on the exchange being hacked for $372 million shortly after it declared bankruptcy. There's so much we could talk about as far as what was revealed in this bankruptcy report. Just a couple more things. It was thought that FTX had a balance sheet, crypto assets worth around $5.5 billion. Ray, after digging in, now pegs the fair value of the company's crypto holdings at just around $700,000. Ray also divulged that FTX didn't hold a complete list of all the employees working at FTX and its affiliates. What the heck? And now there's this, apparently. Have you heard about this? FTX insiders claim to be releasing uncensored sex tape allegedly between disgraced SBF and Alameda CEO Caroline Ellison soon. Supposed to be released today. Cannot confirm whether it was or wasn't. Make sure.
Oh my God, it's just keeps getting better and better and better, dude.
Anyone seen any action on that front? Any you cyber heads?
This is like we're watching a Hollywood movie that has played out in real life with all of the details in real life and actual investigative journalists like this channel, people on Twitter, not for like Forbes or any of those like garbage mainstream media outlets. We're watching this like Hollywood dramatized movie, but you're like, it's not a movie, but you're like, wait, there's a sex tape and there's billions and billions of dollars of fraud. And there's fraud from the CEO of multiple companies and there's fraud within the government. And all of this is taking place and you don't have a full understanding of what's going on. And there's somebody that's going in there and they're like, I'm going to fix this shit and narrate it. And he's like, you can't even believe how bad this is. I've been in this industry of helping bankrupt companies for 40 years, 4 decades, longer than I've been alive. And he's like, I've never seen anything as shitty as this. It's like literally a horror movie for fraud around the world right now.
And it makes sense. It does all make sense, though. Like, I don't know why, but you give white people enough money, they're going to do the sex orgy thing. Like, and it's never stateside. It's like humans are predictable, and I think like social media kind of like almost makes it like, geez, Louise, there's not too many things that get humans going. Sex, drugs, money, power, and it's like, oh God. But these people, you'd think they would have some decency and not film the nasty shit that they're doing. Disgusting. So let's keep watching. This is great.
Make sure you're following us on Twitter for more information if you're interested in this. Can't share this on YouTube. So where do we go from here? Well, FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, will face congressional hearings in December. So look forward to that. What you need to know. The U.S. House Financial Services Committee will hold a hearing on the collapse of FTX in December. It will seek testimony from former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, Alameda Research, Binance, and FTX itself. With over 1 million victims and counting, the FTX scandal is the largest crypto-related fraud in history. Speaking about CZ and Binance testifying before Congress against FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, let me give you a taste of what you will hear in December, because Andrew from CNBC asked CZ directly, take us through. Were you really intending to buy out FTX, and how did you decide you weren't going to do it? Take us through the process. It was clear FTX misappropriated user funds and lied to investors. Listen to CZ.
Take us back, if you could, to when you first got the call from Sam and you first had a chance to look at the books, because I think a lot of people are still trying to understand exactly what happened here. How much of this was about commingling? How much of this was about terrible marking of the books? What did you see?
Yeah, I think I got a call from Sam 48 hours after I made the tweet. He wanted to talk. So at the beginning, I thought he would just wanted to do an OTC deal to buy out the FTT tokens we had. And then he wanted actually a buyout of the entire firm, of the entire FTX platform. It was pretty clear pretty soon that there's misappropriation of user funds. The user funds are gone. At that point, it's clearly that he lied to his users, his investors, his VC investors, his employees. At that point, I thought I couldn't, like whatever data that's in the data room, we couldn't trust anymore. So it was quite hard for us to do that due diligence. So we didn't go very far.
You know, we've all seen his tweets now overnight. Do you think he understood what he was doing?
I think he thought, I think he probably still think he understands what he's doing now, which I don't think he should be tweeting.
That's for sure. But in terms of intent, I mean, one of the things that's going to be looked at, I'm sure, by regulators, potentially by prosecutors, is what he intended to do. He seems to suggest in a lot of these tweets that he didn't understand, or he mismarked things. And when I say mismarked, mislabeled things is what I think is the phrase that he's used. And yet, when you looked under the books, clearly it appears that he was demonstrably commingling funds, using the funds to leverage himself up and the like.
Yeah, I think, look, I didn't do the due diligence myself, but I think it will be very, very clear that Sam knows that he was using the user funds to do trading for Alameda. And he has been probably doing this for quite a while that nobody else knew until very recently. Well, a small number of people in FTX probably knew, but most of the other normal employees probably did not know. I think that's probably the most likely situation.
Bro, like what God is going on when people are doing this kind of thing? I think this is it. Like we went from like a bear market to like a bear market on steroids, where there's so much more happening so quickly right now with the SBF stuff, with all of this fraud in our government, in you know, governments around the world. Like every single organization is like corrupt in some way, shape, or form, and it's getting exposed at a faster and faster rate right now. What does Ben have to say about this?
So let's check what Ben's on this. Ben's like top of the food chain when it comes to talking about this stuff at this moment. So let's kind of go through and see what he's been doing. It's our boy Ben Armstrong, the comeback king of the super shills, and he's taking over right now. Look at him. His subscribers are getting close to 1 million on remember Corey Costa went on his show and had him on his show. That's pretty cool there. International Connect to Congress, investigate Gary Gensler and FTX, sign the petition. Worth a retweet for me. If they did that fit 30 years, they would almost be in a hole as much as FTX. Let's see. Matt Wallace, Twitter was losing over $300 million a year and facing decreasing users before Elon Musk took over. Now, Twitter has so many daily active users, the servers can barely handle it. Sam, I'd love for you to comment. All I see is Karens online upset about Elon Musk, and there's male Karens and female Karens. So what I know Elon Musk is crushing it personally. And what do you think about what he's done? And it's a big deal for crypto because we know crypto Twitter is a big deal.
I see a couple people doing some things that are very controversial, or the way that they are able to garner people's attention is inspiring in a way, but also I want to be able to learn from them, and I don't necessarily wouldn't do it the same way. There's 3 people that come to mind. The first is Andrew Tate. Like, I appreciate the way that he gets his message out there and is able to say it in a way that captivates people, right? And but it's also a way to manipulate people. Doesn't necessarily have to be bad. Another person who I think does an amazing job of this is Elon Musk. And the third, and I think one of the persons that I enjoy a lot who does this, is Donald Trump. All 3 of those people are able to capture people's attention, and then that allows the people they capture their attention of. This includes like media, mainstream media and whatnot, to talk about them, whether that's videos or articles, blog posts, podcasts, etc. And what's happening with Elon Musk and Twitter right now is what is tremendously helping Twitter right now, because I would like people like me, right? I would never want to work for another company in the regard of like getting a W-2 or something. I'd like to have equity or maybe help out a buddy in his company for a short period of time. But people out there who want jobs or want like a W-2 job, but would never work for Twitter, would work for Twitter now because Elon Musk is in charge, right? I think that everybody else is helping him revive Twitter by going through and like talking about it, articles, tweeting, videos, podcasts, etc. And they're literally going to lift Twitter up. I posted this morning literally about this. I did a tweet about it.
I'm super bullish on Twitter, and not in the financial sense. I don't invest in it, but it's helping me quite a bit.
Elon buying Twitter. This is my tweet. I don't think many realize how much is going to be changing at Twitter over the next year. And I might turn Twitter into my main platform because of this change. And when you see something before other people see it, that is the opportunity, whether it's to capture attention, something like Twitter, or to I saw this on TikTok, right? That's why I was able to like get 1 million+ views per month. But it also happens in the
crypto part of Twitter, like crypto Twitter, and we're crypto guys now. So like crypto Twitter alone, even without Elon, was explosive.
And now it's going to grow even faster and change faster. Like,
well, now it's going to be like really good and also DeFi friendly, which is what we need right now. And Elon's on the front lines of that. Doesn't matter what anyone says with all his Dogecoin talk and all that stuff. He's involved. So Sam, I want to read this real quick. I think this is going to be a good one. I have not read this, but I was looking for something to read on this. And so this is called Why I Exited My Grayscale GBTC position. And guys, GBTC is trading under $10,000. Seriously.
50% discount.
It's ridiculous, bro. It's crazy. So from the latest 10K issued, 2/25/22, see red box below, Grayscale can withdraw from Coinbase custody anytime. No different from how Celsius and FTX could access your funds and do what it wanted. So Sam, basically Grayscale is supposed to be like for certain type of investors, right? It's kind of supposed to protect them from downside risk, but then it can just come out of the pools that would dump the same ones that would like are tied to the coins that we get out of. So there is interrelation there. And it's so if you look at this, it says deposits, withdrawals, and storage, access to the digital asset account. The custodial services allow Bitcoin to be deposited from a public blockchain address to the digital asset account and allow the trust of sponsors to withdraw Bitcoin and digital asset account to a public blockchain address. The trust or the sponsees control each such transactions as custody transaction, subject to certain exceptions in the custodian agreement. The trust, the sponsor, and their authorized representatives will be able to access the digital asset account via the custodian's website 99.9% of the time, excluding scheduled maintenance. In order to check information about the digital asset account, deposit Bitcoin to the digital asset account, or initiate a custody transaction subject to the timing described above. So let's go down on his tweet and see if he says anything else.
And a lot of this is happening right now is because Genesis, which is like the parent company or sister company of Grayscale, has halted withdrawals, right? So you have like
pinching out in other spots.
But they're related. It's like Alameda and FTX, just not necessarily as corrupt. Is that your water? The sister company or the parent company, I'm not sure what it is, Genesis, is having issues and told people like, hey, F you, we're not giving you your money back at this moment in time. So people don't want to hold Grayscale because if your sister, like if I'm living in the same house as you and I'm sick as fuck and I'm a bad person and I'm stealing people's money, do you think that's going to affect you if you're living in the same house? Yeah, of course. And that's effectively what's happening with Genesis. They are going through a liquidity crisis where they're not allowing people to take their crypto out, right? They're not allowed to people to take their money out. So that's affecting Grayscale because they're living in the same house, right? But go ahead and get back into this.
So I used the 10K rather than the latest 10Q because only the 10Qs are audited. More on this audit later. As we found out, Genesis Trading is in deep trouble. They halted withdrawals and tried to get a $1 billion investment to save itself. We all know its parent company, DCG Co., is the parent company of Grayscale. By the way, DGC lost $1.2 billion in the Three Arrows, likely related to Genesis' $2.4 billion loan to Three Arrows. Genesis also held FTT as collateral on a huge loan to FTX, that causing them to go belly up now. Side note, what are you guys even doing? Sounds like very unsophisticated lending. Do you want to mention any of that?
So one of the things for people who are not familiar with the vernacular he's talking about, you scroll back up just a smidge where it says, I think it was point number 2. One more, where it says here, the 10K and 10Q. If you're not familiar with like SEC reporting, 10K is like an annual report that is audited. The 10Q is a quarterly report that is not audited. So the 10K is audited by a third-party accountancy. Like if it's a big company, they'll use one of the top 4 accounting firms out there. Where the 10Q, the idea is that it's not necessarily as high quality data because it hasn't been third-party audited. But remember, these third-party audits are the same third-party audits that took place for Enron. There was a complete scam. And they are getting paid to audit. So if you want to continue to do business with me, like they're going to have at least some incentive, right? If I'm getting millions and millions of dollars per year to do audits, right? And every contract says worth $250,000 or $1.6 million, and I'm like, oh wait, this is fucked up. 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 This is fucked up, right? You're going to be like, okay, cool. Let's not use Sam again for this audit because he's finding way too much shit here, right? So there's definitely some type of incentive to go to like not cover all the details or look for all the issues here. But that's all I want to say about this. If you want to jump back in here. Oh, you're muted. No, I think we were on number 5.
So number 5, per articles, DGC/Genesis seeking $1 billion. DCG is now looking to give investors a controlling ownership to Genesis or one of its subsidiaries like Grayscale. With that out of the way, here's where it gets sketchy. Friedman is Grayscale auditor. Friedman is Grayscale's auditor.
Friedman, like Sam Bankman? Friedman?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe like someone else. I don't know. His name.
I'll look that up real quick. See if I can find it.
They were just charged 2 months ago by the SEC, and they had to acquire by Markham another auditor. Markham is now the Grayscale auditor of its late 2022. What did the SEC go after them for? Friedman failed to design and perform audit procedures that would have detected numerous undisclosed related party transactions. The SEC previously charged iFresh with repeatedly filling material and accurate financial statements that failed to disclose related party transactions, specifically alleging that iFresh engaged in undisclosure transactions with entities that were either controlled by the CEO or iFresh or owned by the CEO's brother. Friedman failed to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence in connection with multiple transactions. 10. Interestingly, I see that Stock Jabber warned as early as last year about Grayscale's sketchy auditor and DCG's unethical conduct. Looks like this guy had a clue. I surprised nobody has talked about this yet on crypto Twitter except him in the past year. I give this a little action. Despite being a $27 billion plus trust, Grayscale is audited by Friedman LLP, Tether's old auditor, Robert Graham, the person responsible for the auditing. The $25 billion Grayscale Bitcoin Trust has audited 3 other public companies, all trade below 50 million. What? That's
Wait,
crazy.
what was that guy's name? Robert who?
Robert Graham. Graham. 11. By the way, Grayscale manages 10 billion plus just in BTC. They are huge. Why purposely use an auditor that only audited other companies worth below 50 million OTC junk and was Tether's last auditor? That caused the FUD. 12. I haven't connected the dots. I haven't connected the dots. The Grayscale auditors are about as reliable as Celsius proof of reserves. I asked that Grayscale and Coinbase INSTO find a proper auditor release proof of reserves. Until then, I would steer clear. Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, Genesis has 1 billion or bigger hold. Grayscale can withdraw any amount, anytime from Coinbase custody and purposely used a sketchy auditor who has allowed fraudulent behavior plus doesn't properly audit it per SEC. How do we know Genesis hasn't touched Grayscale funds? 15. I sincerely hope that everyone is properly accounted for at Grayscale. And it was a great product. And my first purchase was a 50% premium years ago when this was the only option for BTC in the IRA. So it pains me, of all people, to exit at a 46% discount. 16. I held the longest time because I do believe that ETF conversion is possible to close to discount. That it is until I discovered all of this yesterday. As I centralized crypto bankruptcy showed us, not your keys, not your coins. Stay safe out there. Hopefully they can save some people. If it does run out of Grayscale, it has risk. Grayscale is at risk. I really hope that I am wrong, being overcautious, but too many others have proven out the worst fears to be true. Grayscale issued a statement in response. Good to see the Coinbase letter. The auditor's point is still not addressed. Due to recent events, investors are understandably inquiring deeper into the crypto investment. In this thread, we've compiled additional information about the safety and security of the assets held in our digital asset products. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not involved in that, Sam.
I mean, very elementary. Looking at their website and stuff. Freeman LLP is an accountancy firm, but maybe they just don't have the experience to, cover something of this magnitude. One of the things that happens when you're a relatively small business, when you, at least for myself, and I know friends who do the same exact thing, when you do like a bunch of, say, that auditor did like a bunch of, say, $10 million size audits for companies, and then you go to another thing. I used to own a landscape company, and we would do like hardscapes and some sod and stuff like that, but we were a tiny little company in terms of revenue wise, just a couple $100,000 a year. And whenever I would take on like a new job that would be at the stretch of what I was used to doing and having the guys do, you would run into issues and you would run into problems that you'd never seen before because the job was much bigger than what you'd expected, right? There was one specifically where there's an area here in Florida where there's properties that are, all in the $1 million plus range. And this guy had just bought a property in the water. He owned multiple properties in there, but he bought one, and him, his wife, and the kid were moving over there. It was like $6 or $7 million. And I had a good relationship with him. So he's like, hey, can you guys come do the side? Sure, no problem. No idea what the F I was doing whatsoever at a job this size. And we just came into issue after issue after issue after issue. He was happy with the job when it was done, but it costs so much more. So when you think about that, as that's how a lot of small businesses are when they take off like bigger bites that they can chew initially. Yes, it forces you to grow and it forces you to learn, right? But then you put this into place with this auditor, Friedman LLP, right, from this Robert Graham guy. He was doing $10 million deals, $10 million deals, $10 million deals, $10 million deals. And then what happens when you go from 10 million and then you have a 15x size difference? So you go from 10 million to 27 billion or something like that. So you go times 10 times 2.5, right? So you go to a 25x bigger deal, right? You're going to run into things that you've never seen before, that you don't know how to handle, that you don't have the experience with, and that could have been or played out in this circumstance right here, because he's just never done a deal that size, right? From personal experience, I've had that happen many times. I've had friends who do the same exact thing. They take off another type of deal that they've never done before, and then it ends up costing them more money or taking them longer or some combination of the two.
Right. The energy always squeezes out in one way or the other if you're doing whatever. Sam, it's been a crazy time in crypto. I got a family party to go to today, so I'm going to scooch. Is there anything that you want to discuss before we leave? I know we said there's some LP questions, but I'm probably just going to try to have RH Max on or do something like that so we can hammer out a couple more of those questions, just a little more specific to what people actually want. Because that was good, man. I'm trying to figure out when this Bitcoin's going to dump. So let's be real. Like, if this stuff really dumps 50% from here, those could be life-changing gains for very little US dollar valuation. So you got to understand that there's always opportunity. Like, it's never going to be right now. Never go all in right now. That's not right now. You just want to be smart. You want to protect yourself, and you can just put yourself's best interest first when you're investing.
Yes. This is a very interesting time in crypto. I'm waiting for the bottom to fall out. Like, I'm prepared. I am continuing to buy. I'm excited. The amount in my account, if it drops by another 50%, I understand how this works. Like, I've just been investing for a long time and understand how this shit works. Like, when you invest in stuff, there is aberrations in the price, right? Like, your portfolio goes up and it goes down and it goes up and it goes down. And if you are fixated on that and not paying attention to the long game of continuing to invest in there, you're going to lose, just period, straight up. Pacific Northwest, X, what's good? Enjoy Sunday. You're muted. Enjoy Sunday, fellas. Thanks for the good week. Yes, we got a good week coming up too, guys. So
crazy.
If you're not subscribed, there's a little bell notification, so you can click the little bell notification because GRC goes live multiple times per day, sometimes, not all the time. And I also release pre-recorded videos a lot on LP type stuff. So if you want to catch those videos along with this, then just press the bell notification and then hit all. So then that way on your phone, when we do that, you can be the first to catch those videos.
And go to our Twitters. And Twitter's hot right now. We want you all over our Twitters. We want you posting our stuff. So get over there and we'll be getting memes going, all the good stuff, guys. Have an amazing day. Stay blessed, fam. Just remember, emotional fitness is the most important thing. It's more important than trading and LP. Like, if you're not emotionally in a good position, you are going to get wrecked by someone who's not super worried about this, doing the same thing you're doing, and they ain't sweating it. So
enjoy the time with your family today, bro. I hope you have a good time.
I will do. I'm excited. Let's go, guys. Everyone, step it up. Step it up. Let's go. Monday morning, my favorite, Crypto in the Morning, every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern, guys. Peace out and have a great day.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that just in case. Jim ready to send me to show you the way. Crypto in the morning.